Okay, welcome everybody. We are here with Brian Ernst today. Y'all are in for a big treat. Brian, I'm going to read his bio because he has got an impressive bio. I'm actually going to read the short bio. Like, he's got a much longer bio, but I'm going to read you the short bio. So he's a 3-time EXP Icon. He's a double Diamond Award recipient. He was the number one EXP agent in Illinois, and sold for units sold in 2018. And with over 22 years real estate experience, 1,000+ homes transactions done, 17 years of coaching. He's a proven leader in the industry. He's got a number one international best selling book, The Half Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and Cracking the Home Seller's Guide. So he's passionate about helping agents and homeowners alike. So again, you guys are in, or we're all in for a treat today. And Brian, thank you so much for joining us and just sharing with our team. And I'm just going to turn it over to you and let you take it away.
Thanks, Kathy. I really appreciate that. How much time do I have?
Oh, yeah, we've got an hour, or
okay.
almost an hour. So if you want to take the whole hour, that's great. If you finish just a few minutes early and want to open it for Q&A, that's great as well. And so I'll just let you guide the ship on how you want to handle that.
I appreciate that. I have basically, we're going to talk about listing appointments and listing presentations. And I honestly have lost count of how many times I've taught it, because I was probably taught it in EXP University for 5 years. This past year I haven't done much with that, but previous years done a ton of stuff. So I really appreciate being here today. One of the things that I do is, how do I put this? I know the pain that so many agents go through out there running their real estate businesses. Like, if anybody here ever wondered why you didn't get a listing, show of hands. Who's ever wondered, ever in your life, ever wondered, hey, why did I not get that listing? Okay. Either you went on the appointment or you didn't even get to the appointment, or let's just say you went on the appointment, got the listing, but then it never closed. These are things that have just perplexed me. And I've spent years and years studying this, researching this, working with different professionals who just had this stuff down and developing a system. And what today I really want to cover is the 8 criteria of a valid listing appointment. So the 8 criteria. Now, if you guys have notes, if you have pen and paper, cool. That'd be great, because the best way to really learn this is to make it your own. Okay. Make this your own. If you're just tuning in because you're in the car, you're just paying attention to this, I get it too. Thanks for being here. I appreciate that. Some of you guys, middle 16 different things. I get it. The ship's on fire. I kind of feel like real estate agents, and myself included, it's like we're firefighters. Either we're starting fires or we're putting them out. It's probably not a good combination, but at least being the firefighter part's good. But you're always on call. And that's one of the things too that I structured in my real estate career too, is I didn't want to be on call all the time. So that if you work on the listing appointment, if you focus on listings are the name of the game. Okay, I hope we can agree on that. Anybody disagree with listings the name of the game? Somebody thinks buyers are the name of the game. I'd love to have that argument. And the real basics of this, it takes so much less time to handle a listing if it's handled properly. Okay, you can set the expectations. You set the whole relationship up from the start. That's what I want to focus on. And understanding these criteria, that they need to be met to just have a valid listing appointment. So that being said, if it's not a valid listing appointment and you go and meet with somebody, anybody want to take a guess what that would be called? So it's not a valid listing appointment, doesn't meet all the criteria we're going to go over today, okay? And you meet with a seller, what would you call that? Anybody have any guesses? You guys don't have to participate if you want. I'll just talk to myself. I'm okay with that. Some people might call it a waste of time. Okay. A little more politically correct answer would be a meet and greet. Okay. Having a meet and greet. And there's two things that we never want to share, ever want to share with the seller, unless, of course, these 8 criteria are met and you actually went through the actual process of the listing appointment. What are 2 things? Somebody calls you up on the phone. What are the 2 things? Can anybody guess here? You can throw it in the chat box, or you can just
Price.
open it up. Price. That's one of them. They want to know the price. They want to know, what's your price? What's the second thing they want to know?
Commission.
So
compensation.
that's it. Price and commission. That's what they want to know. What are the 2 things we're not going to give them? Price and commission. That's it. We're not going to give it to them. Now, wait a minute, Brian. We're licensed real estate agents and brokers. We have a duty. We have to disclose this. Look, you're business owners. You don't even know if you want to take this business yet, nor do you know all the information about it. How can you possibly give a price on something that you've never seen before? Okay. So this is stuff that comes up over and over on phone calls. Okay. Like, because it should be converted to a phone call. Maybe it's an internet lead. Maybe it's however you got this. It's a text message. It's a direct message off of social media, whatever it may be. Turn it into a phone call. And then we want to figure out if these criteria are met. And if they are not met, and you still want to meet with them, that's a meet and greet, but you know you're walking into an appointment that you're not going to share your commission and you're not going to share the price of their home. So if you're the real estate professional that you are and you walk in the door, that's a whole nother set of objection handlers you need to learn, which is very difficult because, like, well, you're the professional. What's the price of my home? Well, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. Well, you're in my home right now. Well, I guess I haven't seen the whole home yet. That's what that's the whole thing. And here's a quick tip for everybody here. Anybody asks you, what's your price on their home and what's your commission? Here's the answer. You might want to write those down. I don't know. I haven't seen your home yet. Let's get together. So what's your commission, Brian? I don't know. I haven't seen your home yet. Let's get together. Hey, Brian, what's the price of my home? I don't know. I haven't seen your home yet. Let's get together. Hey, Brian, you sold our home 3 years ago. You sold the home to us. Yeah, I don't know the condition of it. So let's get together. I'm available tomorrow at 2 p.m. or would Wednesday at 5 p.m. work better for you? I go right to the close on that. I don't want to keep arguing at them. I want to go right to the close. No, Brian, we want to know what the commission is before we meet with you. Hey, that's no problem. Hey, yeah, I can appreciate that. And I run a business. I want to make sure that I give you the proper information. And in running a business, I need to understand what I'm actually selling, how much time it's going to take me, how much money I need to invest into this, what resources I need. And I'm happy to give you that information. Let's set up a time where we can get together so I can give you everything that you want. But I need to know. I hate to give you a range. I hate to give you an estimate because I'm a professional. This is what I do. And rarely does it get past that point. But don't get into an argument with somebody. Set the appointment. So that being said, I want to get into this is 8 criteria of a valid listing appointment. 8 criteria. This is what I want to cover today. Like, these are things that I want you to write these criteria down as I go through them. And I want you to, like, hang them next to your desk. Okay. I don't know, make copies of it. Hang it on your mirror in your bathroom. Hang it on, I don't know, next to your bed. Like, put it everywhere. So it kind of gets drilled into you that these things need to be accomplished. And that's the whole idea, is making sure you don't miss a step. Because sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want to ask this question because I don't want to offend anybody. Look, you're the business owners. You're all the business owners. You're all real estate agents and brokers running a real estate business. I hope, correct? Is that correct, Kathy? Everybody here is running a real estate business. I just want to make sure.
Yes.
So that's what it is.
Yeah.
If anybody asks you guys what you do for a living, that's the answer too. I run a real estate business. I never liked answering I'm a real estate agent or I'm in real estate. No, I run a business. People tend to treat you that way if you say that. So let's just start. Let's get right into this. Because your time is important. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys spending time with me here. And let me get some value for you. So number 1, the first criteria of a valid listing appointment. All right. First criteria. They want to sell. Pretty simple, right? They want to sell. You can phrase it how you want. The seller wants to sell. Now, if somebody calls you up and they're like, well, I want to figure out price of my home, my mortgage, my lender said I need to like talk to a real estate agent, give me a ballpark of what it's worth so I can refinance. Oh, hey, that's no problem. I'm happy to get you information on that, but I'm not going to meet with those people. Okay. Hey, we want you to, come over, figure out, what our home is worth because we're thinking about like remodeling and what that would be worth. Okay. Are you planning on selling? No, no, no. I just want to figure out what it's worth. Oh, these are situations where I'm not going to go on the appointment. If they don't want to sell, I am not going to waste my time. But I will give them information, like I'll give them a summary market analysis with a bunch of, you know, comparable properties. I won't narrow it in because they'll say, well, what's my home worth? I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. Do you know what I'm saying? If you want to sell, I'm happy to narrow that down. But this is where I'm going to go through this type of stuff. So I'll give them a packet of information that I'll email them with so many comparables that'll probably overwhelm them anyways. But it's like, I gave you all the information. So they still think of me if they do want to sell in the future. But I'm not going on the appointment. That's the first criteria. They want to sell. Sounds pretty basic, right? Okay. But think about this. There's 7 more criteria. And we got to put them all together. And when you put all the criteria together, you're going to be in one of the best situations to actually convert that listing. All right. So that's number 1. They want to sell. Number 2, you've collected enough information for a ballpark market analysis. So number 2 is information for a ballpark market analysis. All right. I teach 1-step listing appointments, not 2-step listing appointments. Yes, there are some times you need a 2-step where you need to see the property first and then come back to it. But for the most part, you could pull up the comparable properties by asking them enough questions about their property, about their home. I mean, everything's simple from how many bedrooms, bathrooms, basement. And really you should be able to pull a lot of this stuff up off the tax records too. That's what I do. Like I'm pulling up the tax records and I'm just confirming with them. Okay, you got a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2,500 square foot home with a unfinished basement. Oh no, we finished the basement. See, that's where it goes. Like I'm just gonna rattle off the facts I already have with them too. But I want to make sure I have the right information. Okay, you've been here for X number of years, what updates have you done to the place? This is just kind of fascinating because I go through these criteria on every single listing appointment, and it's amazing what people tell you. Absolutely amazing when they talk about like, yeah, we've been here for 10 years, and oh yeah, we put a lot of work into the place. We replaced the laminate tile in the bathroom and we put new laminate tile. That's a lot of updates. Okay, all right, great. Everybody has a different perception on what these things mean. And that's what you're figuring out. You get to, all of you, I feel your pain. You get to deal with the general public. Okay. I feel that pain too. That's why I'm doing this. I feel like this is my way of giving back to people who have to put up with this type of stuff. Everybody has a different scale of how they judge things. And we're trying to put them in the realistic scale, what's actually going to sell. So number 1 is they want to sell. Number 2 is you've collected enough information for a ballpark market analysis. Number 3, you have asked them how much they want. You ask how much they want. Number 3 is you've asked how much they want. Not, hey, do you have an idea of what you possibly might be maybe thinking your plate, what you want to sell? No. How much do you want for your home? Now they may clarify, is that net or is that gross? Most of them don't. Most of them thinking what's the sale price. They're not thinking about all the fees, the taxes that go into selling your home. I want to have a number in my head. I want to know what they're thinking. If this property, you pull it up and you're looking all day long, this property is worth 400,000, and they're saying, yeah, we want to get 600,000 out of it. Okay, all right. They've been doing some massive updates and upgrades to this place to make that make any kind of sense. Okay. I think most of you, if I'm not mistaken, can pull up enough information, a CMA on a property, a comparable market analysis, sight unseen. All right. Now, those estimators are actually worth, and you have to actually see the property, but you get an idea. Okay. And when somebody hits the number right on the head of what I'm thinking, and it's like, all right, we're in a good position. I'll tell you this, 9 times out of 10, people want more money than their home is worth, has been my experience. I don't know if you guys can relate to that. What do you think? my 9 out of 10. That's my kind of my statistics I've kind of made up in my head after doing this. Oh, I've lost count of how many listing appointments I've been on. So you asked how much they want. So important. And you think about this too. Let's think about another scenario. The car business. All right. Anybody ever bought a car before? Anybody go into a dealership? You know, I mean, that whole process really hasn't changed all that much through the years. Amazingly enough, there's a few other companies and brands that do a little bit differently. But it's like they want to sell it for MSRP or above. You want to get it for less. Yes, you can go online, look up stuff, but ultimately you get down to the dealer because that's who's licensed to sell those products, you know, that who has the franchise for whatever product it is, except for a few brands. And they want to sell it for full price or above, and they want to tack on a bunch of add-ons. You want them to get down on price. How does negotiations work? Whoever puts the first number on the table usually loses, okay? Then they're going to try to work you up from there. You say a number, yeah, I want to buy this car for this price. Oh, yeah, I don't know if we can do that or not. They know if they can do that or not, okay? Depends on where you get in the negotiations. But if you've asked a seller how much they want for their home, remember, you're a licensed real estate agent or broker, and you are licensed as a duty to protect their interest once they sign with you. They haven't signed with you yet. You want to understand this. And this comes into play down the road too. If they don't list with you, all right? If they don't list with you, they've already told you a price. Pretty good stuff. You have no duty to keep that private necessarily to your own clients. It's not listed yet. So that was number 3. You've asked how much they want. So important. And if somebody ever says this, how about this? I don't know what my place is worth. That's why we're calling you, Brian. Hey, no problem. And by the way, you guys can ask the same question 3 times without offending somebody. Don't ask it exactly the same way, but you can ask the same question. Hey, I understand. That's why you have me coming in. Have you checked out any online estimates of what your home is worth? Have you seen any of those things? Oh, yeah, we saw this website said this and this website this. There we go. They have a number. I want to hear a number. I ask the same question. How much do you want for your home? These are what these websites are saying. And if they really disagree, they'll say, oh, we think this is way too low. Okay, got an idea. But if they said, no, we haven't looked at anything, we haven't seen anything online. Okay, just curious, what have similar homes in your street sold for? Oh, the one across the street sold for this, but they didn't have the curtains in the bathroom like we do. Oh, curtains in the bathroom. Okay, great. Like they'll tell you the answers. They're dying to. You just have to build through some of that trust factor too. And it's just a set of questions that you're going through. But these are the criteria that need to be met within the questions. So that's number 3. You've asked how much they want. All right. Number 4. You've pre-qualified them over the phone, not through an email. No, over the phone. I mean, you can do it through a Zoom call too. I'm okay with that. But you've qualified them before you've met with them. And you've been able to make sure the 8 criteria are met. Now, another thing, and I don't know if you guys have this or not. Anybody here have Forewarn? Forewarn? Yep. Anybody who does not have Forewarn, please look that up. Okay. Forewarn. Forewarn. It's an app. And it's so simple. You can type in somebody's phone number and you can have any names associated with that phone number. You can put in more specific names, location, stuff like that. But I just throw a phone number in there. And when somebody calls me up and says, hey, it's Bob, they left me a message. Hey, it's Bob, thinking about selling my home, give me a call. I don't know who Bob is. I can type Bob's phone number into Forewarn, figure out who it is. Usually it's within my geographic farm area. And, I can pull that up. So when I talk to Bob on the phone, I can say, okay, Bob, hey, thanks for calling. I got your message. You think about selling your home. I just want to confirm this is 123 Main Street we're talking about. Oh yeah. How'd you know that? Hey, I wouldn't be any good at my job if I didn't know that. Seriously, Forewarn. If you don't have that app, look at it, look for it. It's for real estate agents, really for safety. I mean, let's be honest. You never know what you're walking into with real estate agent, with sellers. I mean, you never know who's actually doing this. Like I've had siblings trying to sell another sibling's home. I had parents and children trying to sell each other's home, and they were not on title. They did not have legal permission. They did not have any contracts that said they could do that. So it'll pull up. It's kind of a cursory background check on stuff, public record stuff. It's fascinating what it pulls up. So I get it through my board of realtors. that's where I pay for it. I don't know how everybody else gets it, but please, if you don't have that, if you take one thing away from today, get forewarned. Okay. I don't even know what it costs per month. Like I said, I pay it. It goes through my board dues, but please.
I think it's a free app through NAR, like if you're
Yeah.
with NAR, I think
Is it?
so. Yeah.
See, I just, it's through the board. So I've talked to people who their board didn't do it. So I don't even know. So, but then again, I don't know if they asked the right question. So please, if you don't have it, but also use forewarn when you're doing this with somebody too, to make sure, the property lines up with them. Okay. Now, if it's in a trust or something like that, their name's not attached, that can happen also. All right. Or if they have it, have it titled differently. But I can't tell you how many times, I don't want to think about how many times people try to commit fraud doing this type of stuff, just calling me up thinking I'm just going to help them do something illegal. So protect yourself and know who you're talking to. It's good stuff. And I mean, if you pull up my stuff on Forewarn, there's another Brian Ernst out there. Man, he's got a record of stuff. It's incredible. But it doesn't check all the boxes. Like it'll check how accurate it is, for that person. And I put a lot of my stuff in different names. So not all my stuff pulls up. It's interesting. I don't care if people look me up. I don't know. It's public information. It's a compilation of public information. Unfortunately, with privacy today, it's amazing how much information is out there on everybody. And I want to make sure you guys have that information about the people you're working with. That's the whole point. So that's number 4, pre-qualify them over the phone, meaning they have the ability to sell the property. They're on title. Now, if we go back to the housing recession, let me tell you, I can't tell you how many people could not sell their home because they were upside down on it. All right. Anybody here survive the housing recession? I guess I've been doing this for a couple of days now. It was brutal. And I would say 90%, it was 90%, 9 out of 10 of my listing appointments that I went on, people would have to come to the table with a significant amount of money to sell their properties. I mean, at the time, people were doing 100% financing, 95/5, 90/10 loans, 100% with cash back at the closing. So when prices dropped, oof, wow. Like those bring back some terrifying days. So I'm grateful we're not in those days at the moment. But that being said, make sure they're qualified to actually sell their home. They have the ability. And I don't push certain things like, hey, you owe, the last time your mortgage was recorded was this, and it was with Wells Fargo, and this was the amount, X, Y, and Z. I don't like to push that over the phone. There's 2 things that I do when I'm trying to get these criteria met. I'm trying to build rapport with them and collect information. This is all over the phone to figure out these 8 criteria. Build rapport, collect information. Build rapport, collect. This is not negotiations. This is not telling them pricing commission. This is not grilling them. This is just trying to, do they meet the 8 criteria? And you build rapport and trust. Because I can't tell you how many times people will, what's your commission? If you can't give them an answer, they're done with you. They hang up. You lost it right there. And you're like, I have 7 more criteria to figure out with you. They don't know this. All right. All right. So number 1 is they want to sell. Number 2, you've collected enough information for a ballpark market analysis. Number 3, you've asked how much they want. Number 4, you've pre-qualified them on the phone. Number 5, you want to make sure all decision makers will be present. Decision makers present. Not on the phone necessarily, but when you actually have the appointment, that has to be met. All right. Husband and wife is on there. Make sure they both are going to be there. Oh, my wife doesn't need to be there. I take care of all this stuff. Well, she's on title, Oh, I can explain it to her. I appreciate that. I just want to make sure. I mean, you're not leaving her with a home. I mean, it's not sold with her as a property. I mean, this is crazy. Like she needs to see this process. This is really kind of important. And vice versa. And be careful, because sometimes I look at names, it looks like a husband and wife, and it's not a husband and wife, but they are. Just make sure you don't use the names, use what's on title. Do you know what I'm saying? Use those names if you can, because I've stepped on some toes sometimes, making sure the decision makers will be there. I said, okay, is your husband going to be there? Husband going to be there? Because it looked like a woman's name and a man's name, and she's like, "You mean my wife?" I'm like, "Oh boy, I'm embarrassed." Okay, I've been totally embarrassed myself. It doesn't matter to me. I was just trying to say their names because you just never know. That listing appointment was awkward. It doesn't make a difference to me who wants to sell their home. I just want to make sure the decision maker, well, and I don't want to say something like to a woman that they think, oh, I don't need a man to help me. I'm not trying to offend anybody. So just don't use my mistake as an example. Use the names off the tax record. Okay. Say the name out loud. People love to hear their name. Man, have I stepped in this so many times. I have stepped in the messes so many times. And I know a few guys, you've done that too. And that's okay. It gives you an opportunity to make it up. All right. It was a long listing appointment, but I set it up, got it done, sold that thing just like that, and moved on. Sold them a new house, done. Just a little awkward. All right. So that's number 5, decision makers present. Number 6, enough time scheduled. Enough time scheduled. You have scheduled enough time to meet with all the decision makers who've been pre-qualified over the phone. You've asked how much they want. You have enough information to do a ballpark market analysis, and they want to sell. You've scheduled enough time. Brian, how much time do we need? I scheduled 2 hours. Do I need 2 hours? Not necessarily. Okay. But if they move forward, I want the full 2 hours to set the expectations to move forward. Okay. Some of my better listing appointments are probably more like 3 hours. Okay. Because it took me, and if I set it up right, they were 50% sold on me. I'm walking in the door to answer a few questions, confirm what they already know, confirm what I already know. And that may take an hour or two. Then it's, let's walk through what needs to be done to make this ready for showings. So at least 2 hours. Nothing is worse than an appointment in my mind that you get everybody together. You think you have everything lined up. You think you have all the criteria lined up. And you get right to the price. You go through the sales. I teach listing presentations. That's what I teach. I think it's the most important thing. You get to the price. And one of the couple, got to go pick up the kids. Got to go pick up the dog at the dog groomer. And they walk out. I can't close the deal without their signatures. And I'm not going to leave a contract with somebody either. Okay. Yeah, I can just email them that. No, I want to do it right then and there. I want to close them right then and there. I don't want them to discuss it with their whole friends and family, because everybody has another friend that's a real estate agent or a realtor, whatever. Yeah, my mother's brother's former college roommate's son sells real estate. Everybody knows somebody. You want to close it. Don't walk out the door without a signed listing is the idea of this. So make sure you have enough time scheduled. Now be in mind, don't take the listing if you don't want it. All right. One of the little things that I do when I go on a listing appointment, kind of a routine, and I'm getting out of my car, walking the front door, and I'm saying to myself, I'm not here to list this property. I'm here to see if I want to list it. If I do, I'll do them a favor and I'll take it. I'll keep saying that over and over. I'm not here to list this property. I'm here to see if I want to list it. If I do, I'll do them a favor and I'll take it. I keep repeating that. I'm not here to list this property. I'm here to see if I want to list it. If I do, I'll do them a favor and I'll take it. Over and over and over. It's right. You got to have the right attitude. That is so crucial. Have the right attitude. For these 8 criteria, the attitude is build rapport, collect information. Can't say you want to take it or not take it. You don't have enough information yet. Build rapport, collect information. So 2 hours. Oh, Brian, I don't really have 2 hours to do all this stuff. If you do the same process over and over, it's amazing what similarities you find. When people are like, I'll give you 20 minutes. Yeah, I bet you they're probably talking to a few other people too. I bet you. Well, because are they really serious about selling their home? They think it really 20 minutes. I'm just going to take care of it. 1, 2, 3 done, and then sell a place for 800,000. Seriously? No, enough time scheduled. These are like red flags that go up for me. All right. Red flags. So that's number 6, enough time scheduled. Number 7, objections to overcome. What objections need to be overcome? Objections to overcome, question mark. This is the thing, because whatever issues that you figure out now, you're going to prepare that for when you're there on the appointment. So you need to know objections to overcome. And that will come up as a part of going through talking to them. Objections are going to come up. So you need to know what they are. You're not here to overcome the objection. Do not overcome the objection over the phone. All right. Sometimes I prepare people a little bit, but I don't overcome the objections. I may give them an idea, but I don't overcome objections. What's an objection that could come up? A myriad of things. Dealing with the public. I mean, if I just created a list of just objections that I've heard, I actually do teach an objections training too, objection handling technique training for real estate agents, or about this process too. It's just, cushion, question, isolate, handle, close, just a process you go through. But learn what the objections are. We're not here to overcome them at the moment. So that's number 7. So number 1 was they want to sell. Number 2 is you collect enough information for a ballpark market analysis. Number 3 is you asked how much they want. Number 4, you pre-qualified them over the phone. Number 5, all decision makers will be present. All decision makers will be present at that appointment. Number 6, enough time is scheduled. 7, objections to overcome. You know what objections you need to overcome on that appointment. And number 8 is you have sent them a pre-appointment package. You sent them a pre-appointment package. Now, what's in a pre-appointment package? That's your sales pitch. That's your marketing plan. It's not necessarily a listing presentation. It would be a part of the listing presentation, but it's how great you are. Okay. Now, EXP actually has a lot of these things. Okay. I forget where it was. EXP Enterprise. I have links to this all over the place, but there is some generic pre-appointment packages. And if you're newer in real estate, okay, use the stats of EXP. If you're experienced in real estate, use your stats, how great you are, testimonials, reviews, all that kind of fun stuff. All right. Number 8 is pre-appointment package sent. It's a struggle to put this package together. They're out there. There's a workplace group about listing presentations and whatnot. There's stuff out there. You can check it out. I would research this. What are people sending to people? What are people sending to people ahead of time to pre-sell them? Okay. I can give you lists and lists all day long on this type of stuff, but it has to be personalized to you. They're buying your services. Okay. They're not necessarily saying, I want to go with EXP Realty. That's who I want to go with. Now, I want more EXP Realty signs out there than anybody else. That being said, it's really, do they trust you? It's about you. Now, you don't need to make it an absolutely narcissistic presentation about yourself. Basically, it should answer the questions. Why should we trust you to sell our home? That's kind of what it answers. So if I saw a pre-appointment package and I'm just reviewing it for somebody, I'm thinking, can I trust this person to sell my home? Is this person credible to sell my home? Does this person have experience? Does this person have the credentials to sell my property for the most amount of money? That's what it should answer. It sounds overly complicated, but that's what it is. So you make it kind of about you, but you're just the guide. The client's the hero. You're the guide. If you think of it that way, it's I guess part of my career, I always thought of myself as the hero. I'm the hero. I got their home sold. No, I'm the guide. They're the ones who went through it. It's about them. It's not about us. Okay. And if you think about that, Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars, he's the guide. Luke Skywalker's the hero. Most heroes are one step usually above a victim level. They don't know, what I'm saying? They have to rise to get to that level of being that full hero. So they feel good. Help them feel good. Help them tell their friends, family, neighbors, oh yeah, we're going with Brian Ernst. He knows what he's doing. Oh yeah, Brian. Yeah, we know him. He knows what he's doing too. That's what you want to accomplish with this. And that's throughout your whole career, that people they know you, they're bringing up your name, they trust and respect you. And that's what that pre-appointment pack, it's like an extended resume slideshow. Think about that. If you turn your resume of why you're such a great real estate agent, broker, that you can really help them better than anybody else, well, guess what? That's what that pre-appointment package should be. All right. So the 8 criteria of a valid listing appointment. Number 1 is they want to sell. Number 2, collect enough information from a ballpark market analysis. 3, you've asked how much they want. 4, pre-qualify them on the phone. 5, all the decision makers will be present for that appointment. 6, enough time scheduled. 7, you know what objections to overcome. And 8, you've sent a pre-appointment package. By the way, if I'm going back 20 years, I had a binder for a pre-appointment package with, sheet protectors, and you drop it off, and then pick it up when you do the listing appointment, have a handful of those, just whatever it took. Things have changed. You just email it to them. All right. But do a little research on that stuff to make sure that it's presented in a manner that answers the question, is this the best choice for my needs? So that's the 8 criteria of a valid listing appointment. Now there's more for this, but this is probably the most crucial part of listing. Understanding these criteria and understanding how to actually get through that process so that when you go on the appointment, you're in the best situation to move forward. Okay. So will this work for you guys? All these criteria, this all works here. Okay. These have to really be met, or else you're going to put yourself into situations that you just don't want to be in. All right. It's a challenge. All right. So I left enough time because I want to share a couple of things here with you guys. And I appreciate you sticking with me. I know. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and you guys are probably getting distracted left and right. I know, me too. That's life. So I really want to say I appreciate you guys sticking with me on this. I hope so far this has been helpful for you. Has this been helpful? Show of hands. Just give me some feedback. Like, worthwhile, so far. It's these 8 criteria. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what I also do is I teach how to ask these in a specific an order of questions. All right. And I use a seller intake form that I've created for this also. That's something we could, if you guys want to do it again another time, I'm happy to share that with you guys. But that's like specifically what questions to ask. And I like asking the same questions. All right. Because then I know if I ask the same questions 1,000 times and 1,000 people said basically the same answer to a question, and I interview somebody new and they give me a wild answer, then it's like, okay, red flag, what's up? Do you know what I'm saying? So that's why I think it's a good pattern to be on. Just like the listing presentation, I teach a specific order to do a listing presentation over and over and over. Why? Because it's cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars in either marketing money or loss of revenue from not getting the listings that I did want. I didn't know what it was. So every time that I failed at something, I went back into my process, went step by step. Where could this have been solved? It all comes really down to the 8 criteria. Okay. I think everybody should do this. After a listing appointment, you walk out with an unsigned listing. All right. Pull out these 8 criteria and say, were these all met? Okay. Most of the time, the best feedback is going through those criteria and go, oh yeah, I missed that one. Or I missed these, or I missed this. That's really comes down to. It's like, it's a self-assessment every single time you walk out. Now, will it always be that way? No. Like, you'll go through and I hit every single criteria. I hit them all. I still didn't get it. The majority of the time, it falls in those 8 criteria has been my experience. So when I don't get a listing, even if I ask for feedback later, okay, and I reach out to them, follow up with them, the feedback that I have gotten in life, especially from real estate, just clients, I feel like it's not the full truth, because I don't know that they know the full truth. They feel uncomfortable. They feel like something's off. They don't want to offend you. I want to hear it. Brutally honest. Hey, I don't trust you. Or, hey, I think these other agents are more experienced. Or, hey, I didn't like this. People just don't share feedback, in my experience, quite like that, especially in a professional atmosphere. So this is your self-assessment too. Go through these criteria, all right, and figure out what this is. Now, it's not all of it, all right? It's not everything for a self-assessment. Like I said, the next thing I do is I teach a seller intake form process of asking all the questions, which I use on the appointment and I use on the phone call. And then I teach the whole listing presentation. All right. Now, the full listing presentation training that I teach is really 2 full days. All right. I can break it up, but I'm just telling you, there's a lot that goes into it. I just want to make sure you guys get some of the basics here. I want to make sure you have this. I want to make sure how about this? Of the 8 criteria, can you guys do me a favor? Go to the chat box. Put in the chat box which of the 8 criteria stands out the most that you may have been missing on to make sure that that was checked before you went on that appointment. Are there any that stood out for you? That kind of an aha moment, like yeah, okay, objection handling, like just what objection to overcome, like getting into those things. Like it's a question that I ask people would be, if you like and see everything when we get together tomorrow at 2 p.m., would there be anything preventing you from getting your home on the market? If you like and see everything you hear when we get together tomorrow, would there be anything preventing you from moving forward and getting your home on the market? Yeah, we really want to repaint first. Oh, hey, no problem. By the way, I'm going to do the same thing over and over. Someone's using an objection. Okay, so if you get your place repainted and you like and hear everything that I say when we get together tomorrow, then are you ready to get your home on the market? Well, we actually want to talk to 2 other agents too. Okay, no problem. If you paint your home, talk to 2 other agents, and then we get together, you like and hear everything that I talk about, are you ready to get your home on the market? Well, we actually kind of want to wait till the kids get out of school. See, this is how I get the objections out of them. I'm closing for, hey, when you get together, you want to list your house or not? Now, don't use that. Don't use that. But that's what I'm saying in my head. Okay. When you get together, if you'd like and hear and everything, and the price feels right, like I have a whole script for this. Price feels right. Would there be anything preventing you from getting your home on the market? Assuming you painted, talked to 2 other agents, and your kids have gotten out of school for the year. No, that's about it. Okay, great. That's where I want to get to. It's not, I'm just kind of leading them through the process. And now I know 3 objections that I didn't know before. They want to paint. I don't know who told them to paint if they need to paint. They probably do. I mean, most people need to paint. They want to talk to other agents. Hey, no problem. And it's always on the phone, build rapport, trust, or build rapport and collect information. No problem. I'm not here to say, oh, I don't mind a little competition. And then what was the third one that I said? Oh, wait till the kids get out of school. Hey, I mean, I know the objection handling for all of these things, and I know the best way to handle that. I'm just collecting information to say, if these things were all met, are you ready to move forward? Yes, no. And it's a closing question when you go and make sure all these criteria are met. You need to make sure you got everything. Nothing's worse than getting an appointment and not knowing what objections that you're walking into and not having the information to back yourself up and say, okay, well, here's some data that shows this, shows this, shows this. You're just proving whatever point you want to make, and you lead them to that point. It's fun. This is, let's see, what's the biggest thing? Sorry, I don't even have a chat box open, All right. So let's see what people put in here. Pre-appointment package. Okay. All right. Love that. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, this is what I love about this. That's why I want you guys to write stuff down. Some people want to participate, some people don't. It's okay. I appreciate you guys being here either way. I want to give you guys the right information that works for you. All right. And if you've been doing this for 30 years, you've been doing it for 3 days, it's still the same stuff. When the great aren't great anymore in real estate, do they need to go and take an advanced course? No, go back to basics. Go back to the basics. And when I have clients, my coaching clients, that they close like 100% of their listing appointments, and then all of a sudden they didn't. And then I go through the 8 criteria and they missed most of them for some, because maybe they have a referral based business and they're already pre-sold when somebody, refers them off to somebody. I see that a lot. And this stuff needs to be handled. If it's somebody you've never met before, if it's a family member, if it's a friend, if it's a referral, if it's a for sale by owner, whatever it may be, you need to have these criteria met up front. Pretty simple. The next part of this is, like I said, it'd be another time if you guys want to do this. It'd be go through my seller intake form where I actually have the specific questions that I have used, that I have trained my teams to use too, where honestly, it's a 1-page form that I use that I can read that and I know what I'm walking into. I mean, I can guess what the results are. I mean, my accuracy was probably about 90% accurate, maybe a little higher, because when you ask the same questions, you know what the answers are. It's on one sheet of paper. It's like, yeah, you know what you're walking into. So the next other part of this too is to fit this into a listing presentation that works. And I'm just passionate about the whole listing presentation process because I think listings are the name of the game. I think listings help you control your time, your life. Okay. There's nothing where there's no such thing as a real estate emergency, especially if you're a listing agent. There's no emergency. Okay. I could shut down at 6 o'clock every single night. Okay. I whatever it is, it could wait till the next morning. All right. Even if somebody said I'm locked out of my house, I always prepare them on the listing and say, always make sure you have a spare key. All right. I'm not always available. I prepare them step by step. So, it's 9 o'clock at night. Can you get the key out of the lockbox for us? And I mean, we're going back to the days where I, have to go over to the property to get them into it versus give them a code or whatnot. This is setting it up right. So I left enough time here. If you guys have any other questions, thoughts, anything that I can help you guys out with, happy to share if I can.
Brian, I want to share a couple things, and thanks for what you're doing. I've been doing this for 23 years, and I've made every one of these mistakes on this list. I mean, over the years, one of the things, and I know several people put it in here, that idea of, the two biggest objections, price and commission, and just to put it out there, one of the things I learned early on was to ask on the phone before the appointment, just, do you have a ballpark idea of what you think the home will sell for? Well, that's why we're having you over. No, I understand that, and I haven't seen the house yet, and I'll definitely give you my numbers when I'm there. I'm going to pull up stuff. I haven't looked up anything yet on your house, but could you give me just an idea, around the neighborhood, what you've seen? What do you think, though? I want to get that because I made that mistake early on. I learned that. I walked into a house, I had all the papers prepared, and I've got comps showing it to be about 450, 500, and when I asked that question when I got there, I mean, we just started talking and they're thinking 700, 750.
Oh, yeah.
I was so far off. I didn't even bring out the papers. I'm like, oh my God, like I got to go back and look at this again, talk to my broker. I was brand new and all this stuff. But I learned to ask that because again, just like what we talked about in here, guys, it can help you walking into that appointment, being ready to handle that objection because it's one of the big objections, that one in your commission. So if you can get that information up front, what are they thinking it will sell for? And I'm going to be upfront with them. And they might be low. Most likely they're high, but we can figure that out as I'm walking in there. And now I can just show them, but I'm ready to handle it like you talked about. The other thing I do want to share real quick, because a lot of people put in here a pre-listing package. One of the things that I've done the last several years here, and Aaron Kin trained on this a couple years ago, but I just want to share my screen here real fast because I send out a pre-listing package that I do through KV Core. I created in KV Core. And just to show you guys this, because you could do this with a landing page in KV Core. Okay, so like this is an appointment I had last year. I just pulled this one up. There was I've already talked to them on the phone. We've set the appointment for Friday at 1 o'clock. So I just put this. All I do is this is once it's created, it's done. I just go in and I just duplicate it. I just put the new address in, the new time. This is when we're going to meet, and I tell them I'm going to send this to them, email it to them. I'll text them afterwards. Hey, be sure to check your emails. Sometimes it goes to spam. But I put in here a little bit about what we do. I put in here the different guarantees that we do, a little bit of my background right here. And then, please click on the links in the comments below the video on our YouTube channel. So I've got a video in here, and this is just like 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes long. Hey, it's great talking to you on the phone. Looking forward to seeing you on Friday. Really can't wait to see your house. It sounds like a beautiful place, whatever. They can click right here to get my Google reviews, okay? Once they click on this, I encourage them in this video, I tell them, make sure you're watching this on my YouTube channel. This is just a private video for them that they're the only ones who can see this. And down in the comments, and I tell them this, down in the comments, I've got 3 documents attached, which sell me. And I will tell you guys, if you do this right, and with what I've done with this, there's probably about half the people that I send this to that call me up, and even though they told me on the phone they're meeting with 3 other agents besides me, they call me and tell me, look, we got your video, we watched it, we saw the stuff, we canceled the other appointments, we're ready to go with you. And so in these documents, I've got these. I've got them set up. It's private to them. That's why it's 3 different documents that just sell me on all the stuff that we do, some of our history, some of the things we do for marketing, pricing on their home. It just sets you up as like the expert. And I could get you guys those documents. We've got them in another file here. But just to share that, there's a lot of ways to do it digital, because I used to do what you did, Brian. I mean, I would have this big package delivered to their door, that cost a fortune, whatever. And sometimes you get it back, sometimes you don't. I had boxes of stuff,
Yep.
whatever. But this is a nice way to do it. And I think, again, nobody else is doing it. So it does set you out apart from all the other agents when they get that thing in the email, you know? So anyway, just an FYI, I just wanted to share that because I've done all these things
it's
I've
great.
messed up along the way.
And it's what there's so many different ways to do that. And thanks for bringing this up, Jeff, because it doesn't have to be, you know, the way that I would do it. It just has to accomplish the point. Can I trust this person to sell my home for the most amount of money and solve my problems? Can I trust this person to solve my problems? That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So it's great if it does that and you got the result. That's the idea. That's the whole idea. So
you build a lot of rapport before you ever even walk in the door, you know, these people. Yeah. So
great. Thanks, Jeff.
But I love your idea too, the posture walking in. Like I remember finally getting this, like, you know, whatever, like you're begging for the listing and they can sense that versus like, look, yes, you're interviewing me, but honestly, I'm also interviewing you. Are you somebody that I want to work with? Yeah. Let's face it, if you've been around long enough, 23 years, we've had plenty of those people where it's like, oh my God, why did I do this? Let's just get to closing.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Jeff, maybe we can find that training Aaron did and attach it, you know, in the
I could do that. Or, and again, somebody asked, I could definitely walk through
even
how to settle that up someday. We can put something together. We can talk about it tomorrow on the Wednesday mastermind a little bit too.
Yeah.
Let me take a look at some of these other questions that I saw here. Seller, my intake sheet has a question. How much do you owe? Yeah, absolutely. That's on my seller intake form. Absolutely. How much do you owe? I have a lot of different data points that I ask for on my seller intake form, but this is the bigger picture, that just the 8 criteria. Okay, all the 8 criteria are met on my seller intake form through different questions that are asked and answered. But yeah, that's absolutely something.
You know, one of the oh, go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
I'm just looking through some of these questions here. Yeah, and you want to be on the actual listing appointment, be able to be prepared to give them a net sheet when you do that too. So yeah, go ahead, Kathy.
I was just going to say, you know, on the pricing, so you're giving me a different perspective. What I have done in the past is I will go, once I'm there, look over the house, kind of have, you know, all the other things that you talked about. I'll sit down and go over the comps with them. And then I ask them, based on what you've seen, what do you think your house should be priced at?
Well, I have a whole listing appointment process, and really the idea is to lead them to the answer.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you show them comps, 500, 550, 525, 540, and they said 700 over the phone. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the idea is, this is what's selling for. What do you think? You know? Right. And yeah, you lead them to the, sometimes I would just, depending on the type of client, but if it was going to be more confrontational, I just want to lead them to that answer as much as I can. Absolutely, Kathy, you're right on the.
So I'm curious, if you ask them on the phone, what do you think you know, how much do you want for your house? They say 700, you know, already it's probably 550. Do you choose to go on that appointment and then be able to show them the data and, like you just said, lead them to the answer? Because then they can see for themselves. I think some people really just don't have a clue, right? So they have this pie in the sky number, but my experience, and I've been doing this a long time as well, is not all, but most people become realistic, or at least reasonable, I'll just say, right? You know, so at least reasonable, not realistic necessarily. When you show them the data, they can't very well, in most cases, unless we're talking about multi-million-dollar homes, you know, want $100,000 more. Right. And then obviously you would go down the road of why that's not a good idea for them to price at $100,000 more. Right. But just curious, do you even go to the appointment if they're pie in the sky number?
Well, remember, this is all stuff that I'm trying to, the criteria to meet to be a valid listing appointment. It's just, this is, if it's a valid listing appointment or not, doesn't mean you're going to get all of them. The idea is it valid? Now, if they want 700, they say 700. I can't tell you, 9 out of 10 people that I talk to on average, is the number I have in my head, are unrealistic on their numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's just it. I'm not going to tell them, yeah, you're off. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know what I'm talking about. The whole point is to build rapport and collect information. Build rapport, collect information. That's it. Because I can't tell you how many arguments I've gotten to with people on the phone on this exact subject. And like, yeah, nobody in your whole neighborhood is sold for more than 550 in the past you know, 10 years? How are
Yeah.
you, and you have less square footage than anybody else, and you're a smaller model. Yep. If I know all that, I used to say that, but did not always, that it had gone. I'm out. I'm a
Mhm.
jerk versus, oh, okay, no problem. You know, like I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. Well, what do you think? I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. Let's get together. Available this time or this time, which works better for you. So that's the idea. It's gonna, do I still go? Absolutely. Okay. If they want to sell, it's really what's their motivation. And
Right.
that's why I have these criteria built
Great.
into a specific script sheet for it, my seller intake form, to really spell this out a little bit better. Okay. And ask these questions more detailed, because I want to understand their motivation. Because if they're motivated, they'll sell that place they wanted 700 for 400. Okay. They will. If they're motivated enough to leave, you know, if they've got a job opportunity somewhere else that pays them X number of dollars a year and blah, 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 blah. Look, they're going to move. Just a matter of with me
Mhm.
or not.
Hey, Brian,
Yeah.
I went on a listing appointment last night. I ran the numbers. Having never seen the house has never been on the market. They bought it from a private investor before. What they told me they owed, based on what they told me they did to the house, they did, you know, the pre-screening and whatnot. They told me that the garage was converted. Um, I put the numbers together. I went there. The house was way above what I thought that even the best properties in the neighborhood were going to be. So the number was going to be higher. My first estimate was $39,000 upside down.
Yeah.
By the time I left the listing appointment, it would have been about 19.
Yep.
They texted me last night after I got home. We've decided to go with you. We're selling it, period.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you never
Yeah.
know. They have a
Right.
job they got to go to.
I've
So
that lesson that you just shared right now, I learned that during the housing recession, when I had 9 out of 10 people that I was meeting with were upside down, and I was basically blowing them off of the phone. You really want to come up with the money to sell your house? Like, I could do the math real quick. And then I switched it to saying, okay, this is what you owe. This is what I know it's worth. I'm not going to say that. Like, you know, and I go on it and I share the numbers. You put it on the table. Here you go. You want to move forward or not? This is what it's going to be. Oh, we have to come up with money? Yeah. And when I changed how I did that exact process, I was converting. Okay. I was out of the 9 out of 10 that were upside down. And I would get maybe 1 out of 10 listings that I would get out of those leads. And then I was totally changing how many listings I was taking, and actually saleable listings, because I just presented it in a manner of, it's your choice. You can either pay to sell or get money out of selling it. You know, think about it. If you're renting, you're just throwing your money away each month. You don't own anything. So what's the difference? It's not my decision. I'm not tied into this property. I'm just here to provide you a service. It's a great point. It's absolutely a great point. And that's why don't put your own personal values and beliefs into this. It's more of, what do they want? You know, this is what the market says. This is not what I'm saying. This is what the market says. And these are the
Right.
numbers. You know, so it's real simple. That's a great point, Mike. Thanks for bringing that up. I hope this was helpful for everybody. I coach and train real estate agents. I also help people write best-selling business books too. It's another, ever since I started doing that, people have come to me about that. And I'm happy to help in any way. If you guys want me to come back and go into more detail on certain things, I can go through my seller intake form. Doing the actual listing appointment, that's a long thing to break down.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to share anything I can. I don't make any money doing this. This is just my way of giving back and trying to have each and everybody here. And I'm so grateful you guys are here and stuck through this, because I hope this has helped in one way, shape, or form. You got 1 point out of this. I use like the 10% rule. If you get 10% out of a training, that's a win. You got one piece of information that, you know, oh yeah, I missed that point. That's what I'm here to do. Okay. I just want to make sure you get something. So I appreciate that. But I'm
Yeah.
happy to offer something to you guys too, if you guys want. I'm happy to offer a free coaching session to anybody if you just want to talk. Like, no requirements, no nothing. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not here to sell you anything if you don't want anything. Okay. But if you want to talk about this type of stuff, let me see if I find my links here. This is just literally a 60-minute Calendly link for me. Okay. That's all it is. You don't want 60 minutes. I'll give a 31 too. It's just, they're 30-minute meeting links. They're not anything, no requirements. Well, that one may have been a coaching consultation. Oh yeah, I do have a coaching consultation. So it may ask you a few questions in there because I just want to get a little background information on you guys. So I know what I'm walking into. Here's my 25-minute one, I think. My count, is that it? I don't know. I'm just giving my links. Bunch of these are my Calendly links. I don't know. You just schedule a time with me right on my calendar. The whole idea is if I can help, schedule a time with me. That's how I work best, by appointments. My coaching consultation copy link. I don't know what I call these things anymore because I have them all integrated into everything. Like they're integrated hyper, you know what I'm saying? So
options, yeah. Well, so if y'all want to have a one-on-one conversation, there's his link. Y'all just click, y'all just join in, and yes, I'll reach out to you. We'd love to have you come back and do the, intake, the seller intake training one day. I think that would be valuable for everybody too. Agents, a lot of times they get trained on the listing appointment and how to be in the listing appointment, but not on the intake before you get to the listing appointment.
that's half
So
the battle.
yeah,
Before you go on the appointment is
yeah,
half the listing appointment in my mind.
yeah. I know.
It starts with your first contact with the person. And when you get to the front door, that's half of it. And
Yeah.
that's the part people miss. And they
Yeah,
just go on
I
the
agree.
appointment through their process and they're like, why didn't you get it? Or this is not set up right. Or this is, I don't know if this can actually, yeah. The idea is that was my whole process. Every time I went into an appointment, I backtracked, took it back to the beginning, what I did, and said, where could this have been avoided? Where could this have been alleviated, solved from the beginning? Put it into the script, put it into the rotation of things so that it never came up again. And I'll be honest with you. I got this down to about working about 5 hours a week and literally just straight appointments. I had buyers, agents handling my buyers, working my real estate business 5 hours a week. I was making a decent amount of money doing this that way. But the other time I was coaching and training. That was my main thing, but just actually on listing, all I did was listing appointments. I set it up. And once I had the listing, I had the rest of my team handle it from start to finish. So it's like just going in to close that appointment. That was my hours. I wasn't even taking the calls. And that's what this format comes down to, is it is duplicatable. You can have other people do parts of it. And you also can have other people do it better than you can do it. That's what I found. I thought, oh, I'm the best. No, I'm not. I'm really not. And I broke down the whole process to give other people that process who are better than me at it. That's the fun part. So Kathy,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you having me. Appreciate everybody who's been here, stuck through this. And if I can help in any way, book a time on my calendar. I'm happy to talk. I'm not here to sell you anything. If I can make your life better, that's what I'm here to do. If I can make your life better. And if you want to write a best-selling business book about your business, that's another whole project, but I do that too. Lead generation. And that's the thing. When it comes to lead generation for listing appointments, that's what to me it's all about. You get the lead generation part in place, and then you get the listing process in place. And it's the converting that lead into a client. And that's another whole section of it. But that process, the listing appointment, to me is everything. And half of it is before you walk in the door. So thanks
I
again.
agree.
Anything
Well,
else?
thank you so much, Brian. I'll be in touch. And if you want to copy this recording, just
Sure.
let me
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. If you want to send it to me, that'd be great. I appreciate it.
Okay, I'll definitely send that to you. So, all right, guys, thank you guys for being here. Jump tomorrow. We've got the Connect to Collaborate. We can talk a little bit more in detail about, any questions that maybe come up that you thought about after we get off at this Zoom. So, join us tomorrow, same time, same link for the Connect to Collaborate. And y'all have a fantastic day. Thanks again, Brian.
Thank you.